Hey everyone, Simon here with a review of OhShape. OhShape is a hole-in-the-wall style rhythm action game that's available on PSVR, and that's the version that I bought. It's also available on PC though, with the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift and Windows Mixed Reality. I don't have VR for PC, but because that version is much more developed on OhShape on PC, and I've adored my time with the PSVR version, my short and skinny for the PC fans is go buy. If you're interested in the PSVR and want to know more, stick around. So, hole in the wall. It uses your two move controllers to replicate where your hands are, and in the most freakiest, strangest kind of VR moment, it gives a silhouette of you, and a much skinnier version of me, may I add, in the walls that are coming towards you up front, so that you can kind of work out where it thinks you are, and it replicates the kind of stances and what you're doing really well, and I was so surprised at it. But you use it basically to line yourself up so that you can go for all of the different shapes that it expects you to deal with. Think OhShape is hole in the wall without Dale Winton, but with Beat Saber vibes, is kind of my short version of this game. And you'll need to have space, I think, is the next thing that I would have. This does have a small room option, which is great, but it's best played with as much space as you can have, because it wants you to move and to strike various different poses. You also need to punch red walls that come towards you. So when someone shouts, "Bring on the wall!" you will be punching a bit, as well as crouching, striking poses. It wants you to dab, like flexing arms up, arms down, doing Egyptian poses, stuff like that, as you go through. And as you go up the difficulty levels, the gaps between them get much shorter, the poses get more tricky, but also it then wants you to like step to the left and do it, then go to centre to do it, go to right to do it. You've also got orange blocks that come towards you that you'll need to duck underneath or shimmy from side to side. And you can kind of get away with most of that shimmying on the spot, but it's more fun if you are able to step sideways. So if you have the room, go for it. Some of it is reduced down if you do go for the small room setting though, and it does penalise your score for doing that. The thing that I most struggled with OhShape originally is precision, and it's because it measures your height and then it kind of expects where your arm span is. And maybe I'm slightly disproportionate because I don't have the longest legs in the world. I'm all body, I'm all tummy. But it didn't quite line up sometimes with some of the stuff when I was putting my arms out like the angel of the north and being like, oh, and so it wouldn't quite line up. So what I ended up having to do, and I've had an absolute blast with the game since, is lowering down the sensitivity from 1 to 0.8, and it gives just enough kind of range of movement for me to be in the right place and still kind of give me the marks, whilst also penalising me for when I do actually genuinely bugger up, which is quite often in the harder modes. As you go through the difficulty levels of the 27 songs, there's 4 different difficulties for each one. Beginner is very, very simple, and it's about just getting into the rhythm and discovering potentially some new poses. Then as you get into easy, it then speeds up the wall's speed that are coming towards you, but also starts to strike in more poses and many more kind of what are called coins, which you can kind of bat out of the way. You don't have to punch them or do anything, you just have to tap them out of the way with your hands. But instead of them just being in like right in front of you, they're now in like circles, or they're up high. So it reminds me very much of, you know, those reaction tests where you have to like mallet the lights as they turn on. The coins remind me a little bit of that, and that reaction test would be a great VR game, by the way. Then, when you get onto normal mode, it's bringing them all together, and now the blocks that are coming towards you are no longer a step left, step right, or swoon left and right. Now it's taking up 3/4 of the screen, and you're going to have to kind of crouch to the left and crouch to the right, but get up very quickly, because then it will want you to like have your hands in the air like you just don't care. And so you are going to need to be flexible, and on your toes and quick about it. And that's great because initially you kind of think in the first couple of songs, because I started this on beginner mode and I was like, cool, there's about 10 different poses, that's all fine and good. Oh no. There is loads and loads and loads of different poses. It's just that they're all saved up for when you get to the medium and then the hard mode, which is absolutely crazy. The way how the game kind of tracks your progress is on a board on the left hand side in the menus. But also in terms of how successful you are, you can have a no-fail rule, but if you keep the failures on, essentially whenever you miss a punch, you get hit by a wall, you don't duck quick enough, or you miss the shape and you don't go through the hole in the wall, it will knock a little bit of your health off. But by getting perfects in a row and getting back through holes in the walls and punching things again, it will kind of replenish your health again. So it's going to really penalise you if you get like 5 or 6 wrong all at once, you're stuck. But if you're able to then get 3 or 4 back in a row again, then it keeps you back in the game, and that's really handy because sometimes sections really are struggles, and then you'll get a bit where you're like, no, I'm in the rhythm and this all kind of makes sense. And the charts are good actually, and they, whilst some of them kind of put coins in really awkward positions where you think that's a trick, I'm going to lose some health, they really do flow to the beat of the music and put you in some really good positions and poses. And it's not quite like you're dancing, but yeah, it's one of the best rhythm action experiences that I've had in VR to date, and I sing its praises hugely. On PC, I've noticed that there is a level editor, which sounds amazing, but that's not available on PSVR, obviously. They are going to be bringing more tracks to the PSVR version in the future. The only thing that I would like to see is that the trophies are currently broken on the game, and that does need a fix, because it doesn't register that you've actually completed various different songs on different difficulties, and therefore doesn't unlock the trophies for doing so. Apart from that though, a fabulous, good fun experience. There's a party mode as well, which will kind of keep your scores if you're switching between people as you play. But primarily, this is a great rhythm action workout tool. Is probably the best way to describe it, especially when you're on the harder difficulties, because you'll be squatting, you'll be stretching, you'll be shimmying from side to side and contorting into all kinds of weird and wonderful positions. And it's kept me well amused. A written review will be over on higherplanegames.com very, very shortly. In the meantime, I'm going to get myself into a bit more of a trimmer shape so that I can match that beautiful silhouette of a me that I've never seen looking back at me, posing into different shapes. Bring on that wall. Bye for now. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects ran by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/Higher Network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share, or a pledge. Thanks for watching.